Okay, so we go from a blockbuster to a film that is going to be highly anticipated for um, the rest of the year, and I'm talking about Killers of the Flower Moon. This is one of those. Um, this is one of those movies that you know. What I will say is this: I think that I first of all, I'm looking forward to this movie. There's no doubt in my mind about this. Okay. Moreover than that, what I'll say is this: that we, and I say we, I mean the audience as far as the movie going audience, whether you go at, once a month or once a week, we have to start to appreciate things before we lose them. And, my good friend on Twitter, um, we just, we have, by the way, Skadoosh is his screen name. Go check him out. He does spaces quite frequently on all these different topics. And last night, because it was screened the other day, we did a top five Martin Scorsese, um, ranking. Now, if you can't find the screen name, just follow me and then, look in my followers and you'll find them there. That being said, Scorsese, I put him in the top five, top four. He's in my Mount Everest as far as pictures, as far as directors. Okay. I think it's going to be Spielberg, it's going to be Scorsese, it's going to be, you know, Coppola, and then it's probably going to be Cameron. Okay. Because those four men, three of those four men grew up in a different, altogether. Okay. I mean, you have the big four. I mean, you've got Lucas, Coppola, Scorsese, and Spielberg. They've changed cinema for the past 50 years. There's no doubt about it. Whether you're talking about movies like Raiders of the Lost Ark, or E.T., or Schindler's List, or Taxi Driver, or Goodfellas, or Casino, or Wolf of Wall Street, or The Godfather, Dracula, whatever it is, they completely changed cinema. And Scorsese's not spring chicken anymore. He's in his 80s now. And his last film, The Irishman, which I still have to sit down and watch, is one of those things where I have no doubt it was his seventh best film could be a whole career for somebody. It's that simple. I mean, whether it's Taxi Driver, whether it's Raging Bull, whether it's Wolf of Wall Street, whether it's Killers of the Flower Moon, even though that hasn't been screened yet, whether it's The Irishman. Okay, I love The Color of Money myself. I think it's an underrated movie. All of that being said, this is going to be an event. When this comes to the theaters in at the end of the year, this is going to be an event. Okay. The reason I bring this up, guys, is because um, at Cannes, okay, the Osage tribal chief says Martin Scorsese and Leonardo DiCaprio have, quote, restored trust with Killers of the Flower Moon. And this comes from THR. Martin Scorsese got perhaps the most glowing endorsement of his latest film, The Killers of the Flower Moon, at Cannes Film Festival. The Apple original feature starring Leonardo DiCaprio, Robert De Niro, and Lily Gladstone, who's pictured there. And by the way, her story is amazing too. She actually almost quit acting before she got a phone call from Martin Scorsese, but that's for another time. Explores a series of murders of members in the oil-rich indigenous Osage Nation in the 1920s, unraveling the betrayal the community faced by white outsiders and the FBI investigation that brought the killers into light. Speaking at the press conference for the film on Sunday, Chief Standing Bear, leader of the Osage Nation, said his people still suffer with it to this day. I can say on behalf of the Osage Nation that Scorsese and his team has restored trust, he said. The previous evening, the Apple film bowed to an enthusiastic reception in the Palace, excuse me for the mispronunciation there. The audience rising for a standing ovation lasting 9 minutes among the lengthiest, among the lengthiest of the film festival so far. Scorsese spoke on how deeply his feelings of the tribal leaders impact his creative process. I knew when I had heard what their values are about love, respect, and loving the earth. And I'm not talking about making this place, and I'm not talking about making this into a political issue. I'm talking about how to really live on this planet. It re it reoriented me every time I heard it, Scorsese said. I wanted to know everything I could about the Osage. It's overwhelming. The more I found out, the more I wanted to put in. Standing there added there were younger Osage working behind the camera on the film across various departments, and also expressed his admiration regarding the work ethic of the top cast. The specter of Donald Trump also made an unlikely appearance at the press conference. The former president and potential 2024 election candidate was referred to by Robert De Niro, who drew parallels between the political figure and the character he plays in Killers, a man who pretends to be an ally of the oil-rich Osage Nation in the 1920s, only to betray them over a series of brutal murders in his quest for wealth. We see it today, and you know who I'm talking about, and I'm not going to say his name, De Niro said. That guy is stupid. It's there, and we have to keep a very close eye on it, De Niro added, referring to the evil lurking in everyday white supremacy. He went on, there are people who think Trump can do a good job. Imagine how insane that is. Reflecting on happier thoughts, De Niro noted that the last time he was at the festival with Scorsese was Taxi Driver back in 1976. Taxi Driver, of course, would win the Palme d'Or. So let's talk about that. This looks so we finally got the trailer for this. So it was shown in CinemaCon, and we finally got the trailer for this. And I gotta say, guys, it looks awesome. It looks awesome. I cannot wait for this movie. And if so, let me dive into the thoughts real quick, because the fact that Scorsese was actually able to regain their trust and restore trust is huge, because this is a story that I don't think anybody else could have told. I don't. Okay, I think that he was the right person to do it because of the stories he tells. Scorsese tells hard hitting stories. Okay, these aren't your run of the mill story. I mean, he tells a Goodfellas. That's a mob movie. That's a hard mob movie. Okay, that's a hard R. Casino, hard R. The Departed, hard R. I don't think you could have gotten somebody to have done it any lighter. This is a deep, touching film, and they needed somebody to do that. And I think Martin Scorsese was the right one. Now, where this ends up in the grand scheme of things, I mean, those films I just named you are probably in everybody's top 5. Okay. That being said, this is going to go down as one of the best films, definitely in his top 10, I think. Now, truth be told, I haven't seen all of his filmography. I want to go back and watch. I have seen Raging Bull, amazing, and the reason for that is it was in black and white. That was a very young Robert De Niro and a very young Joe Pesci. And you look at their filmography and how they've worked together, whether it is The Irishman, whether it is Casino, whether it is, Goodfellas. It's not, well, I'm sorry, not Goodfellas, but I'm blanking on it. Anyways, the point is they've worked together all the time, and they're really good. This looks De Niro, and the other thing I'll say about Scorsese is this: he's taken two of his muse. I mean, I'm going to call them muses, but two of his favorite actors over the course of his career. You look at the number of films that he's done with Robert De Niro, and you look at the number of films he's done with Leonardo DiCaprio. I'm talking about Shutter Island. I'm talking about Wolf of Wall Street. I'm talking about now Killers of the Flower Moon. I'm talking about The Aviator. And then you take a look at somebody like De Niro that he's worked with. Raging Bull, Casino, Goodfellas, The Irishman. This has all the makings of cleaning up. Now, truth be told, we don't know what else is going to be coming out. There are a lot of good pictures coming out this summer, in this fall season. Okay, a lot. One that I hope really does well, and we'll talk about that at another time. But yeah, so this I think is going to be fabulous. The fact that he was able to restore their trust, and you had the younger generation. That cannot be lost here. The younger generation was actually working on the set. That's how much love they had for this. Otherwise, they would have just washed their hands and said, "Okay, you make your picture." The fact that they had the younger generation in there working on the film, and you're going to have all of those, um, all of those younger generation, okay, these teenagers and young adults, they're going to grow up. Hopefully, they're going to grow up and make films, and that's what we need. We need good stories. So I think this is going to be fabulous. Look out for this, and this is going to make. And the thing is, this is going to make a whole lot of money. When we talk about this at the end of the year, this is not going to be making oodles and oodles like Guardians. Scorsese makes pictures because he likes the content. He's like a Clint Eastwood. He doesn't make it to make his money. Okay? The man's already a legend. He makes it because he wants to tell stories. Okay? And that's what this is. He's telling another rich story. Anyways, guys, what do you think about Killers of the Flower Moon? What do you think about the tribal leaders coming out and basically saying, "You've restored our trust"? Are you going to go see this in the theaters, or are you going to go wait until this comes to Apple? Leave me your thoughts down in the comments, and I will get back to everyone.